Folks, welcome to my first video, Life of a Single Man. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day so far. I know I cannot complain. This video is going to cover 5 reasons why I think men who are currently single should probably stay single. Now, for starters, this channel is not going to be a channel to where I'm going to be sitting here and talking down on women or talking down on men that choose to be in any kind of a relationship. I just hope that for those of you men that are in relationships, you're in a relationship to where you're actually getting something out of it. It's a good, strong, healthy relationship. But, I'm going to be real. I mean, some of us men, we're single. And some of us, to be quite frank, we're better off being single, at least for now. And I put myself in the category of men who are currently single, that at least for now, at least for this season, people like myself are better off being single. I mean, oftentimes you got a lot of men that like to critique women, and women got high expectations and they're not being realistic. And unfortunately, that does seem to be the case with many women out here. But on this channel, I'm gonna try to look at all this from a more logical point of view. I mean, for starters, I'm in my mid-40s. I'm 44 years old. I've never been married before. Obviously, yes, I've been in a fair amount of relationships. I dated, and in the near future, I plan to date. It's been a while since I've dated because I've been busy just dealing with life. So, here are 5 reasons why I think men ought to stay single. And these reasons are in no particular order. Reason number 1, lack of stability and direction. What do I mean by that? Like, if you're the kind of man, and by the way, it doesn't matter what age you are. I mean, this could apply to men that are younger, like in their 20s, or it could apply to men that are my age in their mid-40s, or it could even apply to some men that are maybe perhaps older than me. But lack of stability and direction. And I'm going to be honest, I fall in that category at this point. Because what I mean by that is, if you're out here and you don't know what you want to do with your life, you don't know exactly where you want to go with your life. Like, if you're working a job that, yeah, it's a job, yeah, it pays the bills, but it's not truly what you want to do. What you truly want to do, for whatever reason, you're not doing it. Maybe you're taking steps to do it. I mean, maybe there's obstacles in your way that'll prevent you from doing it, or maybe you're just procrastinating, and that's why you're not doing what you really want to do. Now, as it goes for me, I mean, right now, I work as a maintenance person at a warehouse here in Indiana. Now, in the past, I did work for a little bit of time in the oil field, and I was able to save up a crap load of money while I was out there because I'm fairly frugal with my money. Now, I spent a good amount of my work life working as a custodian. I've had that job. I mean, I worked as a nursing assistant, and I also, on the side, I might do like gig work. And plus, I got another YouTube channel. Y'all can go check it out. It's called Andrew's Life. It's basically it's a channel to where I travel to different places in the country and I do videos. So I'm trying to get that channel up. I got my new channel, this one, Life of a Single Man. I'm trying to build this channel up as well. And there were some times where I used to own pieces of real estate and I used to be a landlord, but unfortunately that got to be a nightmare, so I decided to sell them, and I decided to take that money and reinvest it. So anyways, if you're someone that you're between jobs, you're between careers, you don't know exactly what it is you want to do, or maybe you're living in a place where, yeah, it's okay. The economy's good. I got a job, I'm making good money, but it's not truly where you want to live. Like for me, I currently reside in Indiana. Now, I grew up in Ohio, and I lived here in Indiana since 2010. But there were a couple of years where I was in Alabama. Now, to make a long story short, I came up here to Indiana and I purchased what I call a second home, because my plan was just to escape the heat of Alabama. I was going to come up here to Indiana for maybe 4 months or so out of the year. And I saw a house up here, good neighborhood. The house was a good price. So I thought about a house. Now, during that time, I was doing gig work. Plus I was doing my YouTube channel. Now, at that time, which was just this past summer, the gig economy was treating me pretty good. I was making pretty good money. Between the gig economy and my YouTube channel, I was doing pretty good. I mean, my savings account was good, and and plus I got money put aside in investments for retirement. But then, to make a long story short, the gig economy started jerking a lot of people around. So the money that I used to make in the gig economy was no longer. I mean, yeah, I was still making some money, but not enough to justify doing gig work as a full-time endeavor. So just so I didn't exhaust all my resources, I had to find myself a 9 to 5. So my plan was, at that point, okay, well, I'm gonna get a 9 to 5 in Alabama. Work that for maybe 7 to 8 months out the year, and then I'll come up here and I'll get a 9 to 5. Well, making a long story short, when I tried looking for work in Alabama for the field of work that I was wanting to do, I was unsuccessful at finding that type of work in the region of Alabama where my other house is currently at. However, I looked around for that same type of work here in Indiana, and I was able to find something within a matter of a day, like one day, which is good, and I appreciate that. But I'd rather be in Alabama, because the part of Alabama where my other house is at, where technically I live, I'm a resident down there. I mean, I'm not far from the beaches. It's a lot warmer down there. The climate's a lot nicer, and I just enjoy myself down there more. So I figure if I had to be somewhere full time, I'd rather be down there than up here. Unfortunately, when it comes to the job market here in Indiana is a little stronger for the type of work that I currently do. So I've been playing with some options of possibly switching the type of work I do to where I can go back down there, and I can find a job that pays good, and I can stay down there full time and sell my house up here in Indiana. So my attitude is, until I get all that ironed out, I don't think it's a good idea for me to be dating and engaging in any type of a relationship. Now, for all you fellas out there that are in a similar predicament, I mean, do what you want to do, but honestly, I think you'll be better off being single until you figure out what type of work you want to do, where you want to live, and just have at least an idea of how all that is going to play out. Now, my second reason why I think some of you all, which I think men ought to stay single is lack of financial resources, which is pretty obvious. I mean, now, I wouldn't encourage any of you men to go out here and date a woman that's a straight up gold digger, talking all that. You gotta have X amount of money, blah blah blah. I wouldn't encourage you guys to date a woman like that. What I mean is, some of you men are broke. Like, if you're gonna go out here and you're gonna engage in any kind of a relationship, at least have enough money to where you can take her out to a actual restaurant, and and afterwards you will still have enough money to be able to pay all your bills. I mean, don't put yourself in a position to where, yeah, you're gonna take old girl out to eat to a nice place, you're gonna show her a good time, but then for the rest of the week, you're going to have to eat. You're going to have to figure out 10 different ways to make ramen noodles and peanut butter sandwiches taste good. So, don't put yourself in a position to where you're so broke that if you take a woman out to a good place to appease her, now you're gonna, your resources are gonna be drained to where you're not gonna be able to properly take care of yourself. Be in a position to where you can show a woman a good time, but at the same time, you can also take care of yourself as you normally would, having you not met her and still been single. Like, if you lost your job, your money's low, you're between jobs, you're looking for work, and you just have a little bit of money set aside just in savings just to maintain yourself, that's not the time to be out here dating. That's a time to stay single. That's a time to keep your nose to the ground and be out here doing what you gotta do to get your money up. Because honestly, I mean, I know for me, it's no fun to engage with a woman when I know I'm broke, when I know I can't take her out nowhere, I can't do nothing with her, I can't do nothing for her, I can't show her a good time because my money is just, my money fucked up. So I know for me, I would feel some kind of way if I were to ask a woman out for a date, knowing that the second I take her out to that nice dinner, now my resources for the rest of the week or maybe even for the rest of the month is depleted, and now I have to figure out 10 different ways to make ramen noodles taste good. So that's what I mean by lack of financial resources. And obviously, if you're out here and you're going through it, you're living in your car not because you want to, but because you have to, or you're living in your mom's spare bedroom because you ain't got no money to afford your own housing. Again, and this kind of piggybacks with the lack of stability and direction. The first reason why I think men should stay single. If you don't have your own place, if you don't have a stable residence of your own, I personally think that you should not be out here dating. I think you ought to stay single. Because again, what fun is it going to be out here dating and you meet a woman, you want to, you take her out to dinner, you have a good time, the chemistry's on point, both of you are a little, you're a little hot, and now you want to go somewhere and take care of that business. I mean, how much fun is it going to be to have to do it in the back of your car because you don't have a stable residence to go to where you can actually sit on the bed or even sit on the couch and take care of that business? Or if you have to go to your friend's house or your mom's house to take care of that business, and now you got to worry about, you don't want to be too noisy, You don't want to be too obvious because now your friends that might tease you, or your mom is gonna, she might get to tripping because you're doing too much. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, as a man, have your own residence before you engage in dating a woman. That's my opinion. I mean, that's my opinion. Like me personally, I wouldn't feel like a real man if I didn't have my own residence. And I understand things happen, but again, when things like that happen, keep your nose to the ground. Be looking for work. When you find work, get your money up, and just have all that squared away before you be out here dating. That's what real men do. Real men don't take women to their mama's house or their friend's house. Real men take women to their own house. Now, as far as doing it in the back seat of the car, I mean, okay, every so often, that's all right. You do what it do. I mean, that back seat of the car deal might be all right when you're maybe a teenager, or maybe you're in your early 20s and you're going to college. But once you get to be once you get into your late 20s and your 30s, and definitely when you get to be my age, that backseat of the car stuff ain't cool. You meet a woman, you need to have your own residence to take her to. I mean, even if you're living in a hotel, I mean, that's still better than going to somebody else's place, to somebody else's space. The third reason is not having a. Okay, well, yeah, I kind of covered the third reason already. The third reason was not having a stable residence. Well, you know what? The third reason is not having. We'll make the third reason not having adequate transportation. Now, again, if you meet a woman, I mean, some of you men don't mind the woman doing the driving, because some of y'all, you might meet a woman, you like her, she like you. You don't have a vehicle, she's got a vehicle. So for whatever reason, you don't have adequate transportation. My attitude is you need to do what you gotta do within the law to get yourself some sort of transportation before you engage in dating. Because if you don't got enough money to afford your own transportation, then you don't have enough money to be out here dating. That's my opinion. I mean, me personally, again, I would find it very embarrassing to have my woman do all the driving and then me be in the passenger seat. Now I understand every so often, if you're you might take turns, and maybe sometimes she might do the driving because you're tired. That's different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking for all you fellas out there that you don't got your own car. Some of you may not even have your own driver's license, and now your woman, she's got the car, she's got the license, and now she's doing all the driving. Now, as a man, I would find that to be rather embarrassing, and I personally would feel like less than a man if that were me. So my suggestion to you men out here who are single, if you do not own your own transportation at this point, stay single, keep your nose to the ground, and do what you gotta do to get your own transportation before you engage in dating. Because again, a real man has his own transportation. A real man will drive the woman around, not the other way around. And when I say adequate transportation, it ain't gotta be no fancy car. It doesn't have to be no damn Lexus. I mean, it could be, I don't care if it's a mid 2000s rusted out Chevy Cavalier with 300,000 miles. As long as that car is reliable and it's not going to leave you and your date stranded on the side of the road, that's all that matters. Just something. I mean, just something. And And that was actually my fourth reason. See, I kind of did the second and third reason together, kind of, sort of. Now, my fifth reason, which I think men ought to stay single, is unaddressed unaddressed past issues. What I mean by that is, now, this fifth reason, I would say women tend to have that more so than men. Now, if you're the type of fella that maybe you grew up in an environment to where your parents used to beat you on a regular basis. So due to that kind of an environment, you got a temper. You got a very short temper. The second your woman even says anything that you don't like, you're gonna go upside her head. So if you know that you got a short temper because of how you were raised, we'll just use that as an example. Again, you have no business out here dating until you seek professional help and you get that issue addressed. Or if you're the type of guy that, okay, maybe you used to be married and your ex-wife done screwed you over worldly, and now you're extra sour and bitter towards women. I mean, you still wanna engage in certain activities with a woman, but at the same time you're bitter because you got screwed over worldly. Again, until you address that bitterness, you have no business going out here and dating, because it's not fair to the woman that you're bitter, because that woman that you're dating, she didn't do anything to you. She's not the one that screwed you over. Your ex did. So keep that bitterness with your ex, not with any other woman that's out here. So those are my five reasons why. I think men ought to stay single. Now, stay tuned for my next video, which will be reasons why I personally choose to not date. That will be on the next video. So, on that note, if you want to help me out, if you resonate with anything that I just said on this video, all you gotta do is give me a thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's free, it doesn't cost you a dime, and it would be very much appreciated. All right, folks, stay blessed.